All right, guys, day 4, Coach Apprenticeship. I have Jessica A on with me, and she is also a fairly newer coach. So I figured she would be great to kind of talk about social media training. Like, what does our team do to help you transition from being a customer or challenger or brand new, really, to learning social media to be able to use it to hit the goals that you have. So just to give you a background, Jess will tell more of her story, but she has helped 3 people her first 2 months as a coach. She is up for earning her free ticket to Summit next summer and getting access to our new VIP test group program coming up. So that's kind of perks that you'll hear about later in the week that I go into with recognition, but she's taking what she's learning and implementing it. So I figured she'd be a really good one to share with y'all from a new coach perspective. Like, okay, cool, you told me this, but like, what actually do I do? What do I have to do to hit the goals? Because she's seeing success in her business. So Jess, share a little bit about how did you come to coaching and our team? What did that look like? Why'd you say yes?
So I actually, like you just said, I am a newer coach. I have been a challenger though with Beachbody for it'll be almost 3 years soon. So it was when 80 Day Obsession came out. That's when, I mean, I had done years before, but then that's when I really made a commitment to my own health and my own journey, and had a pretty significant success with that. So I've lost about 50 pounds over that time. And then once I started that, I really just kind of changed my entire lifestyle, which is what we're all about with Beachbody anyway. It's not a diet, it's not a fad, just your whole lifestyle. So I've been pretty consistent then with my lifestyle for, like I said, it'll be almost 3 years this winter. And then from there, Jess Rogalski, she's actually my coach. She's one of my good friends. We've been friends for a while. So we had some conversations, and I was at a point, I spent a lot of time on my own journey, and I just kind of wanted to take that next level. I was already, as far as all in, as far as being focused with my workouts and my nutrition, and I already used the products. So for me, it just felt like that next step too, to just kind of jump all in and really give back to share that journey. And since doing that, and since starting my coaching, not only has it been fun to help other people, but that just keeps it's like a whole team of it motivates me even more. So it's brought a lot of momentum back to me as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that a lot of times we have challengers or discount coaches that have maybe been watching for a couple years. Maybe you've seen your coach go to Summit or go on a Success Club trip and thought, wow, that's really cool, but I couldn't do that. So now you're doing it. What has that experience been like for you in starting your business and learning how to use social media? Because that's always the number one thing from new coaches is I'm scared to share. And Jess is a teacher too. So we were just talking about her transitioning back to virtual learning and not being able to post during the school day, which obviously when you're off all summer is a big change. So talk a little bit about, when you came in as a new coach, what does that training look like? What resources are available? How did you kind of hit the ground running? Since you had that belief in the products, that's great, right? But how does that transition to the results you're seeing in your business with the use of social media?
So the one good thing is, even as I was a challenger, I did use a little bit of social media, not in the way that I do now as a coach. But I was already starting to share my journey. And that was really not necessarily at the time, to attract anybody. I just shared my story more as a way to start keeping me accountable. So I would just kind of share each day as I was going through a program. But before coaching, I pretty much just shared workout clips. And then I mean, every now and then, like I would share other things here and there too, like anybody does on social media, but I pretty much just shared the workout clips. But like you said, we have a message pod as coaches together. So there's a lot of learning opportunities from that. There's also a lot of trainings right on Beachbody. We have a team call every week. There's a national wake up call. So there's a lot of different places that you can get support and what that should look like. So I know one of the big things we talk about is picking 5 things outside of Beachbody, to just so that you don't kind of become this like, yeah, I work out every day, and it starts to look like a robot and somebody that people can't really relate to. So once you have those things, it kind of just starts to become natural. Like, so I do share my workout clips every day. That is something that I had always done. But now I kind of shake it up. Sometimes I'm showing my shake and how it's easy for me on my way out. Sometimes it has nothing to do with that, and I'm just sharing on my social media as far as what it's like to be a mom. And sometimes that can be just the funny things that happen throughout the day. I actually just shared on my social media tonight how I'm tired, because as you said, I'm a teacher, so we're back in the first week and it looks a lot different this year. So I just shared how literally I put my one son to bed in the wrong bed because I was like, in my other kid's room, and I walked downstairs and I'm like, did I just do that? I did. And so right there, it's like, okay, whereas before coaching, I might not have necessarily thought of like, hey, let's share this, but I'm like, okay, like that's a funny thing. Like, I have people that follow me who will get a laugh out of that. And we can kind of build a connection that's not just about your workouts, or not just about what your food you're eating or what kind of shakes you're doing. So I know one of the biggest trainings during Summit, there was a storytelling training. And it's just about finding those little stories, and sometimes it's going to be related to your workouts, and sometimes it's going to be related to your nutrition, but a lot of times it's related to all the other little things. And so when you start to share, like in my opinion, before I just shared the workout clips, but now it's like you see my whole person. I'm not just somebody that works out every day. I'm a teacher, I'm a mom. Sometimes the house is messy, sometimes it's clean. Sometimes I've actually really stepped out of my comfort zone. I used to be like, oh, I have to have my makeup and my hair done, and I have to look a certain way before I get on social media. And when you start to share every single day, like that's not real life. So sometimes I use a filter. Like this morning, my workout, I looked really gross, so I used a filter in that case. But other times I'm really intentional about just sharing, like, yeah, I don't have makeup on today, or my hair is not done today. Because the biggest thing is what you want to be sharing on your social media is you. So there's the 5 things that you can, things that have nothing to do necessarily with Beachbody that will help to attract people that are like you. And then, like I said, outside of the 5 things, just finding those little moments every single day. I also have started to, one thing that I had learned, and actually, I don't know if it was specifically from a training, but like I said, outside of specific trainings that Beachbody has, we have a message pod. I know, Danielle, you're always really good at just kind of sending out reminders to us every so often, like, hey, I challenge you to do this if you haven't done this in a while. So one thing that I started to do was put like more interactive things on my story, and even in my posts. So sometimes my posts, sometimes they're like an invite, but sometimes it's just like a post, like I had my meal prep Sunday, and I do that with a mimosa. And so at the bottom, it's like, well, how do you spend your Sunday fun day? On my story, again, that might sometimes be like an invite, like, oh, who's interested? You know, who's interested in my next group that I'm running. But sometimes I even had, like, my son watches this really annoying show called Blippi, and I had him like, who else gets tortured by this every day? So like I said, I've come a long way in about 2 months of it was just workout clips. And then you start to learn, like, okay, the 5 things, and eventually it starts to become more natural. And now I've been working more on getting that interaction. Because what I was saying, when I put like a poll on a story, gradually I'll have people vote on that. And so that gets you a chance, not that it might be an invite right away, but just gets you a chance to kind of make that connection so that it could potentially lead that way.
Oh, so good. Well, I think the big thing with Jess is that she came in with an open, coachable heart, right? It's like I say all the time, you go into college for 4 years as a freshman and you're like, what the heck is this? I don't know how to go to class. I don't know what my teacher's going to be like. I'm scared as heck. Like, am I going to pass that first exam? Right? Like, you have to get into the groove of this brand new place. And that's kind of what coaching is. But Jess has gotten on every team call. She has plugged into the message pod. She has taken feedback and implemented it. Specifically, like, I know one of the things was talking on your stories. Like, that's a big thing, but y'all, social media is free. Like, it's free marketing, okay? And you can connect with endless amount of people. And I always say, the fear that you feel to talk on your stories, think about the person that is 30 pounds overweight, that is a mom, that has 2 little ones at home, that doesn't have a community, that doesn't have a focused workout program, that doesn't have support. And she's over here like, oh my gosh, what the heck am I doing? To her, like, that fear of feeling stuck is way bigger than you posting on social media. Like, when you say it out loud, it's like, oh.
Yeah. And I think I used to always get like fearful, like, oh, what are people going to think? And I've never had somebody like, oh, you shouldn't have shared that. Like, nobody is going, you're going to get positive interactions from people looking at your story. And like what you said, I've gotten better about speaking on my story. And sometimes that can be related to sort of what we do as coaches, but not necessarily like in a specific way. So like tonight, for dinner, I kind of talked to, like, a lot of times as a mom, it can be hard to keep everybody healthy when it's busy and the school year starts. And I have a 3 and a 1-year-old. So they're like screaming, and we try to teach them how to be healthy, but they are picky sometimes. And so I've been starting to share on my social media about how we do dinner and make sure that we don't use the kids and the busy as an excuse for going to get fast food or something like that. So I know today, like I shared on my story just about how like I did make a dinner for myself. I had chicken and salad, and how I just like made a slight modification to their dinner, not without making, I didn't make a whole other dinner. But I just added like an extra little side on, or I might change out the salad. But so I've been getting better about making sure that I share those things. But like you said, for anybody viewing me, that might be something that kind of a mom needed to hear, a mom that was sitting there thinking like, well, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. Just helping with those like little tips, that's what ends up speaking to people and making connections with them far before your workout videos. That might be inspiring to them, but those little things are what really gets people to start connecting with you, so that maybe they can eventually become part of your team.
Love that, because it is true, like being valuable and giving back before you ever expect anything in return is something that I've always preached to our team, because it's like those messages, first off, they make you feel really good when you get them, and they're like, I've been watching you for 6 months and I've seen you, but they won't get to a point when they're ready to reach out or to answer your invite if you're the one that's inconsistent. And I think that's the other big thing maybe you want to touch on real quick, because you're going through this transition right now in your life. And I always have seen over the past 6 years is the coaches that stay consistent, that find a way, even when it's really hard, that outlast. So you want to speak to that real quick, and then we can wrap it up?
Yeah. So number one, like, as I'll always be consistent to my own journey. Unless I'm like sick or, something, I'm hurting, I will never miss a workout. So for me, it's like, it's so simple to at least get that up each day. And consistency is important. And I was saying to you right before we started this call, like, it's a little bit tricky because right now I did start back to work. So whereas in the summertime, I could just, whenever I had a chance, I could share it to social media. I don't have that luxury right now. But so this morning, you know, I did my workout and I did get the clips, but I didn't get a chance before the workday started to upload those. But I made sure that I got that this evening. And I just said, you know, this is earlier from today. Because I actually had one of my challengers, she's already with me. She's one of my challengers. And she was saying how like, she just loves watching it every day because it's just that little bit of motivation sometimes for somebody. You know, she talked about her own journey and she was like, sometimes if it's not for seeing your story and you keep going, like I might not have gotten up and did my workout today. So consistency doesn't always, like in my case, doesn't always mean that you have to have like 20 things on your story every day and that you need to have some long post. Some days are going to be more than others, but I show up every single day since I've been coaching in some shape or form. So if it's not a workout clip because it's a rest day, I might have my shake on there. I might have my glow juice in the morning. I'll have little things from, you know, things going on with my family, but in some way, shape, or form, there is something with coaching, something with health every day to just kind of keep that inspiration going. And like you said, that is what's going to attract people, because if you put a post up, you know, one day like, oh, you know, you did a workout and you had really healthy, and then you don't do it again for 2 weeks, like, well, what have you been doing for the last 2 weeks? So when people follow you and want to be excited about something, they're looking to see that. I know even actually an old coach that I used to work with before I ever worked with her, that was something I got on every day and I watched her. It was actually during one of my pregnancies, and I was in a time where it's like a little bit harder to get motivated for the day, but every day I would get on and I would look at her story, and she wasn't even my coach or anything, just getting on and looking every day. So consistency, like I said, it's not easy for me right now, but I do have some non-negotiables of like, this needs to get on there and this needs to get on there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a 20 story long every single day. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But like I always say, like a workout and some sort of like healthy, you know, whether it's what I'm eating or it's my shake, like every day, it doesn't take that long, honestly, to get it done. Like sometimes I'm doing it as I'm sitting there during bath time, or, you know, as we're watching a show, or even as we're playing blocks. It can be really quick to just say like, okay, put that onto my story. So yeah, consistency is definitely important.
Mom cracks, as we like to call them, right? Get it done.
Yes. So it can be, you know, like I said, sometimes it's as we're outside and I just have a minute while they're on the swing. Sometimes it's even, you know, when you take a second, you go upstairs and you go to the bathroom, it's like, okay, everybody's quiet. I'm going to send a message out right now. So, like you said, consistency, especially with a few non-negotiables, it really actually doesn't take that long to get just those few consistent things up each day.
Mic drop. So Jess, any closing thoughts? What has coaching done for you, your family, your life? What would you say to someone that's considering it?
It's definitely been like, number one, coaching has offered more connections and I've made more friends. Had I not started coaching, I would actually not even have known you, Danielle. Mm-hmm. So it's helped me to just even make more friends. And when you have that team, that just builds you up even more. It also helps me to keep even more consistent with my journey because I am showing up every day for people. And really, it's just been, you know, there's a lot going on in the world right now, but as far as coaching, this is one like positive place that we can count on. And it's really just a, you know, like I said, I've hit Success Club the first month and I hit it my second month. So now I'm ready to go and do that the third month. So, you know, like you had talked about, yeah, there are some benefits and prizes along the way, but like you said, just really making friends and kind of building in my own journey. And like I said, with everything going on in the world, it's at least one place, like I know that there's going to be positivity in some way, shape, or form from our team. So it's, you know, just in a mindset way, really builds you up as well. And then, you know, like I said, it's also an added bonus that, yeah, you can make an income, and yeah, it does open new opportunities and new relationships and things like that.
Love that. Well, super proud of you. Thank you for getting on and sharing. And we look forward to having other mamas on the team.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Jess.